In the beginning was the all. And this all was everything that is, everything that would be, everything that could be. Let's call it Wuji. And there came a moment where Wuji decided to split itself in half, two equal opposites, one masculine, one feminine, one positive, one negative. Let's call these halves yin and yang, father yang, mother yin. Now, eventually, yin and yang had a son, Taiji, who is the supreme son, the offspring of those two equal opposites, and in his own way, the return of Wuji. Now, this supreme son, this supreme heir, this supreme offspring is androgynous, bearing positive, negative, masculine, and feminine within itself. And it's from Taiji that it began to express itself. It breathed out, and from that breath came forth the seven spirits: the spirit of the Lord, wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, and awe. And together, these three, Father, Mother, Supreme Offspring, and the seven spirits, they crafted the three worlds and the beings within them. It was out of the Father's essence that the spirit world was sculpted. It was out of Mother's essence that the astral plane was sculpted, and it was from the body of the Supreme Son, his very essence, that the quantum field and the multiverse, the universe, was sculpted, the physical world. And in each of these worlds, they begin to design the different creatures that lived in these worlds. They created angels, they created other spirits, astral entities, and even some of the beasts and creatures in the physical world, expressing their creativity and really whenever they found need. Eventually, the Supreme Son, continuing with the nature of Wuji within himself, splits himself again, decides to split himself, this time into four pieces, really separating essence off of himself. These four parts became known to the Egyptians as Asar, Set, Ast, and Nebuchadnezzar. Again, manifesting as positive masculine, negative masculine, positive feminine, negative feminine. The consciousness of the Supreme Son rested within the positive masculine known as Asar. Asar and Aset became a couple. Set and Nebuchadnezzar became a couple. Eventually, there came a moment where Set was in charge of Earth, and he commissioned the creation of humanity to do a job. He wanted servants, he wanted workers to do the job that he didn't want to do anymore, and he thought was beneath him and the rest of the royal family. And he commissioned his older brother Asar to do it. Not to mention that at this point, Asar is known as the only begotten simply because he's the only one who was actually born from yin and yang. The rest are emanations of himself. So Asar ends up taking clay and begins to sculpt it into fashion. He designs mankind and he creates them according to his brother's wishes. Something that has the capabilities of them and is able to do the work that they no longer want to do. Well, some time passed and eventually compassion stirred up within Asar because he didn't really like it. Too close to what he was. He decided to shift the recipe. And instead of just building them from clay and having his brother breathe life into them to animate it, he added their blood. His blood, which is the blood of all the gods, all the divinities. As he, as the Supreme Son, as the only begotten Son, is still the closest we get to Wuji, the all, the blood that is all. He infuses that blood in with this batch of mankind, and instead of them being made as slaves or servants, they become made as equals to the rest of the gods. This infuriates Set. He goes on a rampage. He tries to destroy humanity multiple times. And let's just say Asar steps in the way. And this creates a cycle where Set was always trying to destroy humanity, and Asar steps in whenever needed in order to save humanity, rescue them from this very destruction. And this is a cycle that happened age after age, generation after generation, culture after culture. That pretty much every time the world was thrown out of balance, destruction almost came to win, Asar would manifest himself, come in human form, and put the world back in balance, as balance, Ma'at, and Dharma are his codes. That's his keys. He himself is an embodiment of balance. Wuji, the manifestation, the equal opposites of yin and yang, masculine and feminine, those energies still a major part of himself, always comes to restore balance. And this cycle continued up until one of his manifestations is Yeshua, where again he came in a human form to restore balance, but this time he came with a message to remind humanity of the very thing that he created them for, which started the chaos, that they were gods. He came on a mission to awaken the gods, to restore them to their places in the heavens, and introduce them to a family that they had not known, because up until this point, the only God that they knew in mass was Set. Different cultures knew him by different names. Some knew him as Amen, some knew him as Shiva, some knew him as Yaldabaoth and Yahweh, but the same entity nonetheless. This was a group project by the rest of the gods. The other family members collaborated together. Father, mother, Aset, Nebuchadnezzar, even their children, all came together, formulated a plan. Many of them came to Earth at the same time with Asar, manifesting in human form, and played a significant role alongst the journey to Calvary, which eventually led to the dethroning of Set. And it was after this defeat that Set finally gave up, no longer being an enemy to humanity, but instead helping humanity, helping them go on and reach their point in the heavens, except he goes about it a different way, because he still fundamentally disagrees with Asar on the origins and the purpose of mankind. Whereas Asar sees humanity as something that was divine and always has been since he created it, Set actually instead sees something that's just a servant, just a slave, something lesser than him, that can eventually learn to be like him. But at this day, he's no longer our adversary. Working with the rest of the empire for the restoration of all things, they're all in this together. This is one big family business. Asar rules the school in the kingdom of descension, which starts you off with a heavenly, divine, and royal identity and helps to bring that to earth. Meanwhile, Set starts you off as human, as carnal, as less than, and you earn your way up. You're climbing a ladder rather than coming from heaven. It's a difference of on earth as it is in heaven versus eventually you get to heaven, should you follow all the right rules. So again, they do have different methods, and overall the entire family is working for our good. It becomes a choice of which kingdom within the empire you want to operate with. And this is a short version of the story of creation and how we ended up where we are now. We are currently in a space where Earth is ascending after its descension. That is all. Until next time, y'all be blessed.